It's my privilege to introduce our final storyteller tonight, who's been wearing a couple hats as MC, but now he gets to be a storyteller, and that's Lee Bolling, the president of STA. And he also works as a mechanical engineer at Kaufman Engineers. Lee is and has been a major driving force in the development of mountain bike trails in Anchorage since 2010. I think I have an old bio, so he might have to up this number a little bit, but getting close to 30 miles of single-track trails in Anchorage, Kincaid, Hillside, Chugach State Park, and then most recently the Service single-track. The trails that Lee has conceived are some of the most popular bike trails in the area, such as Lee's Train, Bolling Alley, Northwest Passage, Middle Earth, Jeff's Whoop Whoop, A-Line, Dig Deep, Hemlock Burn, and many, many more. Lee volunteers his time with STA for ongoing trail maintenance, fundraising, or tracking the next new trail project. And tonight, Lee is going to share a story about his most memorable mountain bike adventure. Please welcome Lee Bolling.
Awesome, thank you, Steve. So, I love mountain biking, but what you might not know about me is that I'm a family man. And I got a beautiful wife. She's awesome. Her name's Colleen. I got 3 kids. I got a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, and 10-year-old. And I was just talking to Colleen saying, man, I feel like we're really starting to climb out of this cave. Like the cave of young child rearing. Man, it's intense. For those of you that don't have kids, it's kind of like finals day at school. You stay up all night studying. You're a zombie the next day, and you're just like, I gotta take this test. And then it's pretty much like that every single day for 365 days a year for at least 4 years per kid. So it takes a lot of effort. And so this story is in the cave. And the way that Colleen and I made it through the cave is that we would do the kid switch. And the kid switches, I'd come home from work, and she'd go out for an hour exercise, not including drive time. And then she'd come back, and then I'd get out for my hour to go work out. And that's how we did it. Now, sometimes you go out for like an hour 15, you're kind of pushing it a little bit. Like 2 hours, if you did 2 hours, you were in the doghouse. That was the doghouse. And 3 hours was unheard of. Okay? So, we got this weekend. We're going to go to Seward to go camping with Colleen's extended family. She says, Lee, I want to go climb Mount Marathon with my sister. It's probably going to be like 2 hours. And I'm like, go for it. That sounds great. And she says, and you can bike Lost Lake when we're done. And I'm like, yes! Yes! That is my favorite trail. Who loves Lost Lake? It is just like the best trail ever. I mean, high alpine, tundra, more tundra, lots of tundra, and just amazing. Like there's gnar on there, there's rocks, there's roots. I love going from the Seward side over the Primrose Lakes. I love the Primrose downhill. It's just so great. I just love it so much. And they say, hell yeah, babe, go hike Mount Marathon, and I'll go bike Lost Lake. So she does it. And then, she goes and drops me off at the trailhead and says, okay, when should I pick you up at Primrose? And I'm like, I think it's going to be like 3 hours. She's like, yeah, go for it. Have fun. I'll meet you in Primrose in 3 hours. And I'm like, dude, 3 hours. Here we go. And so I get on my bike and I haul ass up there as fast as I can because I want to spend as much time up in that tundra area as possible and shred that Primrose as much as I can. And so I get up there to the top. It's a beautiful day. It's probably like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock by that point. And I start shredding down that first point down to the lake. And man, I'm just like hitting everything, having a blast. I'm like hollering like a pirate that found buried treasure. I just love it so much. Shredding. And then like, you gotta be kidding me. Flat tire. But I'm prepared. I have all my tools. I got my pump. It's all good. So I flip the bike over, take the wheel off, put the tube in, put the wheel back on, get my pump, open my pump up, start to pump my pump, explodes. just gone. No pump. I tried to put it back together frantically, like, gotta put this back together. And I'm an engineer, so I can like kind of nerd out on that stuff. And cannot fix the pump. I'm like, oh my God. So in last moment of desperation, I kneel down and I put my lips around that Presta valve. And you know the top part, I put my tongue on it, push it in. And I blow as hard as I possibly can. And it obviously doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can try that, and it does not work. Seems like a good idea when your pump breaks, but doesn't work. And thank God no one was watching me do that, because I looked like a complete idiot. So I'm like, man, here I am. I'm exactly in the middle of Lost Lake. 8 miles from the start, 8 miles to the finish, no cell service, can't tell my wife. I'm like, man, this is not going to be good. How did I get in this situation? Because I got to tell you what, I'm a Boy Scout. And Boy Scout motto is be prepared, and I'm always prepared. I always got my shit together. It's awesome. And so, anyway, but like, how did this happen? And Scouts is very important. It's very important to my mom. She was a Girl Scout. My grandpa was an Eagle Scout. My uncles were Eagle Scouts. They couldn't even get their license until they got Eagle Scout. But I only made it to Life Scout, which is like one below Eagle Scout. I couldn't do my Eagle Scout project because I got into high school and I started doing like sports and I kind of fell to the side. And so my mom always wanted me to, and I just never got it, you know. But it wasn't until like Kincaid, I helped lead that whole project from 2010, 2011 through the concept to the fundraising and hire the contractor, layout, the whole thing, everything, open it up finally, and my mom comes up to me and she holds on to both my arms. She says, Lee, that was your Eagle Scout project! And I said, Mom, that's the most badass Eagle Scout project anyone's ever done. But I'm also 29 years old and I'm a full adult. And it probably doesn't count, but in her eyes, I am an Eagle Scout, which I love. I love that. But, thank you. But there it is. So there I am. Prepared Lee, Life Scout Lee. Flat tire. 8 miles to go. No cell service. I'm like, next thing, must find pump. So I start pushing my bike, just running it. And I'm a fast runner. So I'm just running my bike, running it. And I come over this tundra hill and I see some people. And I see 2 fat bikes. And I'm like, oh yes, fat bike packers. So I roll up to them and I say, guys, just had my flat tire light. Can I borrow your pump? And the guy looks at me, he's like, no man, you can't borrow a pump. We forgot our pumps. I'm like, what? What kind of, obviously not a Boy Scout. What kind of person are you? You're on a bike packing trip. You forget both your pumps? It's ridiculous. Don't got time for this. So I keep running down the trail. Run. And I see a hiker. And I'm like, hiker, do you have a pump? And they look at me funny. And then I realized, like, when I go hiking, I usually don't take a pump either. So, of course, the answer was no, I don't have a pump. I'm like, oh. Well, on that flats of, the rolling part of Lost Lake, I ran into like 8 more hiking groups. All of them did not have pumps, but I had to ask, do you have a pump? No. Do you have a flat? Yeah. And there I am at the top of Primrose looking down, the beauty that it is. Just like, man, this is my 3-hour bonus time running Lost Lake with my bike, and I can't even bike down the most fun part. Just pushing it down all those awesome, beautiful rocks and roots and everything. God. And then I start thinking about it. I'm like, man, I'm going to be really late. This is not going to be good. And I'm thinking about Colleen at Primrose with 3 kids. They've all pooped their diapers at the same time. Someone's dropped something down the outhouse. It's a complete meltdown. I'm going to be in the doghouse. This is not going to be good. Well, anyway, that last bit, the last like 2 miles of Primrose are just brutal. And I start rolling through, and I finally get through the Primrose parking lot. And I look around. She's not there. Not there. No wife at the end of the trail. Like, I'm really in trouble now. This is going to be bad. I'm going to have to push it all the way to Trail River Campground. But then I look out, and I see her father, Tom, my father-in-law, and he was there to pick me up. And I was like, I knew everything was going to be okay. I knew Colleen was at Trail River drinking a glass of wine with the family around taking care of our kids, and I was not going to be in the doghouse. So that was the only saving grace. So that's my story. So if you go and bike Lost Lake or any other trail, remember 2 things. 1, go with a buddy. 2 pumps. That's it. Thank you so much.